I love it so much. His wifey's there. He's at the pool hanging out just like he should be in the summertime.
Absolutely. There's so many things I love about that video. Like you said, seeing Dame and his wifey enjoying their vacation and their off season, knowing he just got a 2-year extension over $100 million. You know, I just love this game, Jacoby. And let me just tell you something funny. I like the fact that as the best player and as the leader, first off, he was available. He in the pool getting FaceTimed by his squad in Summer League. He answered the phone. That's one. Two, I like the fact that he didn't know. He's like, I am living my best life. Like, I forgot they played at 3 o'clock or whatever the game was.
That's a big party, too.
And then lastly, I got to say a couple of things. Are those real diamonds in those championship rings?
I don't know. I haven't checked on them, but I'm assuming so. I'm assuming so.
I hope that because each win matters. And I'm glad that the league, who continues to be marketing geniuses, even like you said earlier about being able to watch LeBron James at the Rucker, just like how the NBA continues to market its game is terrific. But I have to say this, and congratulations to the Blazers. Are we going to need a play-in for Summer League?
maybe not. LeBron James was at the Drew League, not the Rucker, but maybe he'll show up at the Rucker or Dykeman or Kingdom later this summer. Let's get back to the Drew League because the leader of the Drew League, gentleman by the name of Dino Smiley, had this to say about the potential of Kyrie Irving coming. He said the following, quote, I don't know. They're pretty sure he was coming. But you know how Kyrie is. I guess he changed his mind in the middle of it. Now, before we start getting on Kyrie Irving about not showing up again or being flaky, this is what he was doing. He was teaching a young girls basketball camp instead of going to the Drew League. So salute to Kyrie Irving for spending his time on others, spending his time educating the youth, female basketball players instead of going to the Drew League. Shout to him for doing so.
Absolutely, and he's staying in the gym. Like, he's one of the most skilled players to ever do this. He got the best handle, him and Steph Curry, in the league right now. And the way he's showing them to, like, how to use that first step, like, that's real skill right there. Like, that's where the game has changed right there, and that's where he became a game-changing finisher also. So I'm rolling with you. It would have been nice to see him balling at the Drew, but it's even better to see him doing what he's doing.
I also like the way he makes it look, jumping off your right foot and finishing with your right hand look super easy right here. Like, I could do that. I cannot do that. I can't do that. I'm going 3 for 10 if I try to do that. Jalen, you've got such a brilliant basketball mind that sometimes we have to put you in a position to exercise that mind. It's time for GM Jalen. During this segment of GM Jalen will continue to be the general manager of the Nets. However, I am the general manager of the Boston Celtics. Calling up GM Jalen.
Wow, surprising call.
Yeah.
What's happening, Brad?
Jalen,
how you doing?
First thing I want to say that I hear what they say about our playoff series, but that was a sweep, but it was much closer than most sweeps. I remember that game 1 was one of the best playoff games of the entire playoffs. That was a great run. That was closer than it was. You've got a great squad over there. However, it seems like you're having some personnel problems. I want to take those off your hands. Kevin Durant wants to be traded, so I've got an idea for you. I know you love Jaylen Brown, and I know that you've been adamant about us not breaking up Jason and Jalen, but I would do it for you. Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Grant Williams. You saw him hit all those threes in Game 7 against the Bucks, right? And on top of that, not 1, not 2, 3 first-round picks for a player that doesn't even want to play on your team. Mr. Rose, got to take this offer.
So let's talk about inflation. Just a few years ago, Oklahoma City got 4 first-round picks for Paul George.
Yep.
Right now, the Utah Jazz, who just got a few picks for Rudy Gobert, are asking for that for Donovan Mitchell. If you want Kevin Durant, you're not going to see a first-round pick for a decade. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're going to do.
What about Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and Grant Williams? Those are 3 great players that can contribute now.
Does Derek White start?
No, he doesn't start, but he played heavy minutes all playoffs. In that Heat series, he carried us during some games.
Okay.
You always say you want someone who can contribute now, so there you go.
I'm still looking for Grant Williams from the finals. Have you seen him?
He hit a lot of threes in that Game 7 against the Bucks. Do you remember that performance? I mean, he basically beat the Bucks single-handedly in a Game 7 closeout game.
Now, Jalen Brown, now he's incredible. So if you could give me him and say, Jason Tatum, then we may be able to make this happen. What you think?
Well, we're gonna have to listen. I respect your opinion and your wishes, and I look forward to continuing this dialogue. I'm gonna circle back with my colleagues, and I'll come up with a new counter offer that will definitely, positively not have Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum in it. There's no chance.
Because here's what I'm learning about today's NBA. The value in the picks are in the lottery. So usually those are the teams that are tanking to get the picks. So that would mean the picks that I'm getting from you gonna be late first round picks.
You're probably right, because Kevin Durant is gonna carry us deep into the playoffs. All right, we'll circle back about this later. Thank you so much for getting on the phone, GM Jalen. Enjoy your summer.
Yes, indeed. Good to see you, Brad. Good talk.
We will. I told Dale to improve the roster, sign who we needed to sign, and give me whatever is left over. This is how bad I want to win. I want to compete for a championship. That's all that matters to me at this stage. I'm willing to take less to put us in position to accomplish that. Jalen, that sounds amazing, but there's a little part of me that says, maybe you're taking less because you're not worth the max anymore.
Well, he's invested in himself, right? Like, this is his final chance at this point of his career, based on everything he's accomplished. A future Hall of Famer, top 75, been an MVP of the league. But he's been a declining player, still averaging 20 and 10 since he left Houston. That's an absolute fact. And look no further than this year's playoffs. It's almost like when Embiid wasn't out there, even if they had Harden, it was like they didn't have a chance. And so now all of a sudden, on paper, people can call it a pay cut, but really he was hoping to get a big deal. So since he ain't getting a big deal, he's basically taking a haircut. I'm going to invest in myself, reinvest in the team. Therefore, if we win, and I've been telling you this for summers, Jacoby, when he reinvests in being in shape and being in the gym. You saw the video with him and Maxey and Sam Cassell. You saw the video right wing working on the pick and roll action. You know he's been in the Hamptons with his owner, Michael Rubin. He's doing all of the right things, staying in the incubation of the team this offseason. That now hopefully leads you into a runway to have a great season, a long playoff run. Now y'all revisit this next year and you're like, all right, now it's time to do my 4-year deal. But otherwise, it's not going to happen. They still got to win. And it's going to be interesting to see how healthy they can be and how consistent they can be going into this season.
So I'm very gullible when it comes to the quality of NBA teams during the summer, because James Harden, he's talking to Chris Haynes about this. He says he's in shape. Last year, he was hobbled with the hamstring the entire year. Their Joel Embiid, James Harden pick and roll numbers are just like off the charts, one of the best in the league. They bring in Tucker, Daniel House, DeAnthony Melton. There's a part of me that says, you know what? The Sixers are going to be pretty good next year. I really feel that way, because I do feel that James Harden was not 100% last year. And with these new pieces, one of the problems is they didn't just lose Ben Simmons, who wasn't playing. It was the Seth Curry and Andre Drummond did deplete their bench a little bit. They've restocked a healthy, in-shape Harden. Joel Embiid, a lot of people's minds, was the MVP last year. Could this team come out of the East if they're healthy?
Yes, they could.
I think so too.
And that's the first time you've heard me say that. And it's based on what they have done this offseason. But again, they're still going to clearly need Embiid to continue to play at an all-NBA MVP level. And they're going to need James Harden to play at an all-NBA level. They're still going to need that. And I agree with you. Maxey's still going to improve. He's been, like, the sky's the limit for what he can bring to that team. Tobias Harris is still going to be a solid veteran that can score and play within a team dynamic. Thibault is a lockdown defender. You know, they have a squad. And I just got to say this also. I'm really proud of my NBA brothers that have taken coaching jobs here recently, even new jobs like Amani Williams, only been there a couple of years, or even like a Willie Green or Ime Udoka, have done a really good job like turning around those squads. Chauncey Billups is going to do it next. But I want us, and Darvin Ham is going to do great.
And don't forget Mosley in Orlando
exactly.
too.
Jamal Mosley, I like what they're doing. But I want to see Sam Cassell get a legitimate head coaching opportunity. I feel like he's next to fall in line with that group.
And we've seen videos of James Harden and Sam Cassell working out. Those are the kind of the off-season videos you want to see from James Harden. We have some videos of his running mate, Joel Embiid. He ain't in the gym working out. He's at the wedding, dancing the hora, a traditional Jewish dance. Look at him having so much fun. And they have this another tradition where they pick you up and put you on a chair. Look at him getting it in. Jalen, I love this so much. I want to be invited.
I love this. Like the great American philosopher David Jacoby once taught me, we don't celebrate enough. And not only do I enjoy seeing Joel having a good time, that looked like it took $1 million to get him there. So not only did you have a good time, but you got 7 figures to be there. That's a beautiful thing.
He knows somebody. He's involved somehow. And also, when you get Joel Embiid to your wedding, you know you're getting a good gift. You know what I mean? Joel Embiid, he's not putting $100 in a card. You know what I mean? When you make as much as Joel Embiid does, you know you're getting a good gift. Jalen, we've discussed LeBron James at the Drew League and
keep Ayton, or let him go to the Pacers for nothing in return. Ayton's offer sheet surpasses the 4-year, $107 million deal signed by Otto Porter Jr. with the Brooklyn Nets in 2017, a deal the Washington Wizards ultimately matched. Sign and trade deals are no longer allowed once Ayton signs the offer sheet with Indiana. So far, the Suns haven't shown an interest in negotiating a sign and trade with the Pacers, but the expectation remains that Phoenix will match the record $133 million offer sheet once it's signed by Ayton, sources told ESPN. If the Suns do match the offer sheet, they can't trade Ayton anywhere until at least January 15th, and can't trade him to Indiana for a year. Ayton will also have veto power on any trade for a year. DeAndre Ayton averaged 17.2 points and 10.2 rebounds this past season with the Suns, shooting 63.4% from the field and 74.6% from the foul line. Mark J. Rebilas USA Today Sports. Namakian of Innovate Sports and Duffy of BDA Sports and WME had insisted to the Suns that they could find a maximum contract offer for Ayton in the marketplace, and they are now delivering it with the offer sheet. The Suns had never made Ayton a max offer, suggesting they didn't value him as a max player. If they don't match the sheet, the Suns will lose the 2018 number 1 pick without compensation. The biggest offer sheet signed by a team that wasn't matched was when Harrison Barnes was signed by the Dallas Mavericks for 4 years and $94.4 million in 2016, the same summer when Barnes' former team, the Golden State Warriors, signed Kevin Durant as a free agent. Ayton has been enthusiastic about the possibility of pairing with talented young guard Tyrese Haliburton and becoming a centerpiece of the Pacers' rebuild, sources told ESPN. Indiana traded Malcolm Brogdon earlier this offseason and Domantas Sabonis last season, shifting into a new era centered around an exciting young backcourt of Haliburton, an emerging star, and rookie Benedict Mathurin, the 6th pick in last month's NBA draft. The Pacers would have to clear out $4.7 million in cap space to sign Ayton.